Hello and welcome to the OCAA Curling Provincial Championships here in Peterborough, Ontario at the Peterborough Curling Club. You are currently watching the first end of 8 in the mixed doubles competition. Mixed doubles, this is the first year that the OCAA has brought in the sport due to worldwide Fanshawe College up by 1 after 3 ends at the Ontario OCAA Provincial Curling Championships. So Humber now, blue stones, gets that back 4 stone placed in. These are the first position stones. You also have a play called a power play. I haven't seen it used yet in mixed doubles. Some teams don't bother using it. They said it's never worked for them yet. And that's placing the stone half in the 8-foot and half in the 12-foot on the tee line, and then having a corner guard. So you can do that once per match. Has some nice curl here. The rocks tend to finish really well when they approach that center line. Looks like a great weight. Got to sweep it to tighten that gap up. Biting button. That's a nice first stone thrown by Kathleen Vilquette. So now Otto Galli looks to be following her. Trying to get it to curl here. They're just going to have a slight tap, little movement in the back. Pushes it into pin. So they will get a 4th end break following end number 4. Today's game started just before 1:40. It's 10 past 2, and already we have 3 ends completed. 4th end is underway at the Peterborough Curling Club. Thomas playing that softer weight. I love the mixed doubles for it tends to be that draw game. You're playing that lighter weight, some taps, a little bit of bumps, nothing too heavy. You rarely see that control, that normal weight thrown. It's a lot more cheeky, a little more sensitive stuff. So this one comes by and is going to be sitting second shot. So Fanshawe sitting 1-2 right now. Let's see if Humber tries to follow them down, or they also have that top shot stone. That'd be a nice run back later on if he's playing slightly heavier weight here. Looks to be a tighter line. Probably about hack weight. So going for that tap back here, a little bit less maybe. Looking to get it to curl. It's hanging out there. He's going to just catch a sliver of it. Moves it right onto the button. I do feel it is, so far from what I have seen, having someone hold the broom, get that line, seems to be beneficial. So far, Humber's been just a little outside on a couple of their shots, but you know they got to go with what they like to curl or how they like to curl. So, you know, they make those decisions on whether or not they come down, get a good look at the house, see what the angles are. Thomas coming from the same side here. Probably looking to repeat that shot. He just threw it. Looks a little bit lighter. Close, though. It's going to settle in quite nicely. Give a little rub. I will say, though, there is a nice pocket there for a double. This is a good chance to throw some heavier weight if you don't get to do it. You know, I'd be aiming just for just off nose of the thrown stone. So Davis Wiscombe. Up the weight, not by much, just a little bit. That's going to be about board weight. Starting to really move, though, trying to get it by that top guard. Hair by, they're going to be running back onto their shooter. Opens it up a little bit. That's a nice little half-decent shot right there. Really allow those mocks to kind of jiggle around, move. Now I think Thomas is looking for that hit and roll in. If he can come over the top of this rock from the outside, it's not going to dive as low, so he might be able to connect with the bottom of his shot stone, which would push it up into the blue. And the shooter might go back into that back 8. Has to move, has a little room. He's throwing that draw weight again, really locking in. They're almost coming to freeze right on top of their shot stone. That's a fairly good idea. Comes up a little short, but still that 8 foot. Davis Wiscombe has a couple options here. You can kind of come down to run off your own blue and come into that center, or I'd be coming down from the other side and trying to tap back that blue that's just biting the button right now on T-line. You don't even need to throw a lot of weight here. That would be, you know, like a back 8 draw weight, and just get it, just chisel the yellow stone off that center line. Oh, it makes it around top guard. Looks like they're going to hit it just off nose and roll right on top. Fanshawe, that Yellowstone is sunk. Right in between a lot of rocks here. It's going to be difficult to get that out of there. So they're calling a draw here for Kathleen Laquette. She throws the first and the 5th stone of each end. Little outside. Yeah, definitely outside. She kind of, when she released it, you could see her hand was on the other side of her foot, so she kind of almost pushed it to that outer area with a little extra weight. It's just going to run on this top blue. Ooh, just misses. So this is a great call here by Davis Wiscombe. He comes down. You want to take a look at it. You want to see these angles. You can't see the angles and visualize it all the way down from the far end. You want to be able to have a look at that, put the broom on the ice, see where you're aiming, and then get ready to throw that stone. The best bet here, I believe, is coming off that blue that's just behind T-line and rolling across the face. And you're going to try to just hit that yellow shooter out between that gap. You're doing this, you could sit 3, but you're going to have to throw some serious weight here. So Michaela Otogali throwing a little bit heavier. She's watching the line. It's close. Looks like it's going to be a nose hit. Fanshawe could be stealing. Yeah. So Fanshawe steals one in the fourth end. Yeah, as the teams discuss what they were kind of going for there. That's curling etiquette and great sportsmanship. It's, watching the other team is just as impressive. You want to see kind of what they're calling, what they're looking for. As now they take their fourth end break, so Fanshawe is going to be leading by 2 here, 3-1 after 4 ends. Head coach for Humber Hawks, Sean Turf, takes to the ice. He's been with the team for 6 years now. And now Shirley Westman, been with the team for Fanshawe College for 9 years. She's going to be talking to her 2 players during the fourth end break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the OCAA Curling Provincial Championships in Peterborough, Ontario at the Peterborough Curling Club. It was hosted here just about 5 years ago. I'll have to think back to that day because I curled in this arena representing Niagara College back then during the Provincial Curling Championships. So this is Fleming College is hosting this spiel this weekend. They're doing a fabulous job so far. It takes a ton of work. I can't say enough positive things about the team here. Jane Bowen, the athletic staff there, absolutely fantastic. So stay tuned while we take this short little break. Give the ice a little sweep if any debris has fallen down there. Give the athletes a little time to refuel. We're back, and you're watching the OCAA Curling Provincial Championships here in Peterborough, Ontario, at the Peterborough Curling Club. My name's Andy Hine. Happy to be broadcasting this to you at home, just coming off a fourth end break during the mixed doubles competition. Humber College, represented by Davis Wiscombe and Michaela Otogali, is facing off against Fanshawe College. Ian Thomas and Kathleen Belliquette are throwing stones for Fanshawe. Fanshawe right now throwing the yellow stones, leading 3-1 after 4 ends in an 8-end game. Once they take back to the ice, they will be putting in their positioned rocks. So whoever has the hammer, which is Humber College, for the 5th end, their stone will be going into as a center guard, so right on that center line. Oh, sorry, back on the... Well, that's will be going back 4 foot. And then Fanshawe College, yes, they have their stone center line as a center guard. 6 stones are in play, 5 are thrown. 2, 1 from each team, are positioned in the center of the ice. Both these teams have a different strategy, different take to the game. Fanshawe is focusing on that line call. Kathleen Belliquette throws the 1st and 5th stone for Fanshawe. And Ian Thomas throws the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stones. Same thing on Humber, with Michaela Otogali throwing stone number 1 and 5. Not allowed removing any of the stones before the 4th shot is thrown. So Davis Wiscombe plays as a sweeper, and they visualize where that broom is placed on the ice for the line. Taking that 4th end break can allow that ice to cool down just a little bit and be a hair slower than what they finished on, so you do have to prepare for that. But it looks good so far. Coming just into the back 4 foot. Mixed doubles is really about the rock positioning. Much softer game to be played, throwing a lot lighter, hacky, type weight if you're doing a takeout. But a lot of the times it's a draw weight game, throwing a lot of little draws. That's for sure. So Humber, they're taking a look from the far end, which is interesting strategy for me as a skip for a number of years, a few different provincial curling championships. I will say I really enjoy getting that close-up look of the house before making that shot call. And it definitely helps me visualize where I want that stone to be placed. So I love that in mixed doubles they've taken this aspect where they can sit back from the far end and try to throw that stone, coming up a little short for Davis Wiscombe. It's going to be as a guard for now. But that's not half bad at all. They're sitting 2. So that blocks off the far side, so it's a great little Little shot there by Wiscombe as Thomas throws his second and end number 5. My favorite aspect really is, Thomas, you can see he pushes up there. He's looking at the line, but he's also judging the weight. He's now their sweeper, not just the shooter. So if you throw a lot of stones at your home rink, home ice, you're probably used to a few times getting up after you shoot just to sweep it into the house. Mixed doubles has a lot of that. Coming in from the far side, you could be looking at a nice little tap and roll in here. Otogali on the sweep, lines close. Really starting to move now. Angling right on in, gonna rub on that center guard as it just bumps it over, spins in to the 12-foot. Thomas looks to be throwing another draw. Same line, the shot he was just throwing. Beauty thing with these mixed doubles, you can be throwing a very similar weight almost for the entire game. So can you really try to find that draw weight feeling on the ice? You can see with that same line, he's not getting as much curl. He has a little stronger handle, looking at about 3 rotations all the way down. Where on Wiscombe's last shot, he threw about 1.5. So that little bit of extra handle makes a big difference when it comes to the curl of the rock. Now stepping up the weight. Throwing about control. Looking for a little run back here. Not exactly what he wanted. Runs the Yellowstone back into his back blue. Fanshawe now sits 2. Both biting that button. One on top of T-line and one just behind. So Kathleen Valaquette will throw the final stone for Fanshawe College in end number 5. They sit 2. There's a good chance just to throw one, either lock it on, sit right on top of your Yellowstone, freeze it to the button, or if you come up lighter, that's all right as well. You can now just guard that area. So a little bit room for error. Hanging out on the outside, though, looks like they're going to be coming onto that blue nose. Sit and stay. You can see just how far back that blue stone got pushed, so that's a heavy thrown rock. You have the room to be a little lighter there on that shot. So for me, I look at that. If it can land as a guard, I can take a little more time, throw it a little lighter, because you know what, if it falls short, you are still safe. You're still good. That's not the worst case scenario. So Michaela Otogali throwing it in, trying to take one, needs to curl a little bit. Gonna hit and roll into button. Oh, just rolled across the top. Fanshawe may be sitting 2 here. Oh, it was just a little bit heavy. A hair lighter. You get a little bit more curl from that stone, and it misses that top guard and comes perfectly onto that button. So Fanshawe did just steal 2 in end number 5 as they start to open this up. This is a close game. The scoreboard doesn't lie, but it rarely tells the whole truth. And it's been back and forth. But, something like that makes a big difference. All of a sudden, it's a 3-2 game instead of a 5-1 game. That's good shooting by both teams. As the position stones are put into play. So whoever has hammer gets their stone placed on the back forefoot, just behind that button. Kathleen Valaquette, first-year student from Cardinal, Ontario. Great opportunity in mixed doubles, not just to learn about mix, but game in general, and to build that confidence, Being new to the college curling scene, it definitely can be eye-opening. See, she throws a very positive handle. Lots of rotation on the stone. Slows up. It's going to be sitting back 12, back 8. But you're not going to get that much curl when you're throwing, 4 or 5 rotations down the ice. Ideally, you're looking for somewhere around 3. When I'm shooting a draw, I try to throw about 2.5 rotations. That's 1. Starting to move a lot here. It's going to be on that top guard. They're looking just to open it up here. It spins out. So you're going to have a little bit more curl with a lighter rotation on the stone. They can see that back rock now. So it looks like they're going to try to freeze right on top, sit, pin. Ian Thomas. Watching his rock come down the ice. Still has room. Looks a little light, so he's getting on it. They're trying to pull it. Go. Nice weight, gets it biting the button, so they are shot stone there. For Davis Wiscombe, maybe looking at playing either something a little heavier or just move it around a little bit here. So get by that top guard, let it curl. You want to get on just off nose, so actually come across the face of that yellow stone. But it looks to be a little bit light. Going to come up short. Really closing off that side. I almost wonder if they'd throw a run back of that guard, but a shot like that can be very difficult when you're used to, you're throwing pretty much a draw all game. You're throwing that lighter weight all game, and then to, pick the ice for a long run back like that can be definitely a challenge. So Ian Thomas going to be coming in from the other side. Starting to move. Looks a little bit light too. So Kathleen goes out to help him. Try to bring it into the house. So they're going to take it to T-line. Just back 4. That is a great position for Humber College here. You're sitting just back, though. Follow them right down that same line. Throw that draw weight. Your goal is to get to just the inside. Almost off nose. If you're just watching for the fun of it, maybe you don't know much about curling. Nose is the center of the stone. So they're going to be running on that top guard, splitting it wide open now. On the right side. Yeah, they tried for just a tap back there on their own stone. I am very new to the mixed double scene as well. I've never had to play mixed doubles. It looks absolutely like a ball out there. I would love to start trying this here at home. I will say I do believe the advantage, just watching some of the other games on the other sheets as well, glancing over, that there is a slight advantage to sweeping your own stone and holding line. To me, that seems like the way to go. A little bit more accuracy, and it really allows you to get a little more in-depth of that visual of the house. So he's falling down that same line. He's thrown 3 stones now down that side. Nice weight again, looking for it just to float on in. He's actually setting up what could be, with some serious weight, a triple. But I don't believe the angles are there. You're going to possibly send a yellow onto your blue. They're by their guard. They're going to be coming off that top one. Nice. Spins it out, so they got 2. Nice little double there by Davis Wiscombe, and they sit 1 at the back 4. Good little shot to open it up. So Kathleen Valaquette will be shooting the final stone for Fanshawe College. Yellow rocks. Going to try to bring this draw right down to the button and freeze on top. Humber really needs a point here. 2 would be even better, but they really want to get onto that scoreboard again. Close this gap up. It looks a little heavy. Starting to move, though. Plan B could be just rubbing on your yellow stone and allowing that to move into the center. Instead, it's coming right through the middle. So right now, Humber sits 1. They have a chance at 3. You come in from the center line a little heavier. I would honestly go for that little tap back. Yes, great call by Davis Wiscombe to come down and eye it up. You really want to take a look at where these rocks are placed. If you can get 3, you're back into this game. It's a 5-4 game. So you're sitting 1. They're looking to remove that T-line yellow stone. Yes. And roll just in. You can play a lighter weight here as well, but you're curling off of that center line, so you're going to have a little bit more movement. Unless you're coming from the outside and trying to... yeah, coming from the outside would be, in my... there's a bigger chance for error, I believe, coming from that outside lane. But you have to go with your comfort. So they're going to be coming from center line, it looks like it. I expect a lot of curl off this center line. starting to move. Oh, yeah. You really got to watch that line. So far, it's close. He gets off of it. They're still going to sit one for Humber. That's a good attempt. It's well worth going for a shot like that to get a little bit more points, and they keep a point on the board. So after 6 ends, it's 5-2 for Fanshawe College. They position those stones. 5-2 game. At this point, Humber's got to look to steal in both these last 2 ends. If you let Fanshawe score here, even if it's just 1, it's now 6-2. You've got to get 4 in the final end. Which, you know what, in mixed doubles, that's not impossible. 6 rocks are in play, but after that 4th stone is thrown, Fanshawe would just be looking at playing a hit game. So I'd be trying to steal 1 or 2 here, and then try to steal again to force it to an extra. Well, it looks good so far. She's by the top guard. Nice shot. Let's see on weight where this rock is going to be placed. Beautiful. Comes right into the forefoot. On the button. Just off pin. So what a gorgeous first shot for Michaela Otogali. Start the end off strong. And that positioned center guard now going to be havoc for Fanshawe College. So right away they set this end off. They started it on the right foot. You have now a chance to steal. Potentially even get 2 here. Kathleen Belaquette throws a little heavy. Comes through that back end. And out for 1. That's been consistent for her so far this game. A little heavy on that, those first shots. You know, you got to take a moment in the hack when you sit down. You recognize the shot. You got to get a feel for it. So she's been heavy consistently for the game. Say, okay, I'm going to bring it back now. So Davis Wiscombe trying to repeat his teammate's throw. Already crossing over that center line. So much movement, very little handle on that rock. It's going to be sitting up for another guard. Not the worst spot. Having 2 guards up there when you need to steal is not a bad thing. Thomas. Will be throwing the 4th stone. So he is allowed to hit, and it looks like he's going to be trying either a run back or a peel. Throw some good weight. Looks like it's going to split off well. Gets the peel, opens it up a little bit. So now you know they're going to be looking to clear this up, get some hits here. So for Wiscombe, I'd be either replacing that stone, and if it goes a little bit deep, goes into the house, that's not the worst case scenario. but you definitely want a rock right now sitting in that center. Line looks good. Close. The weight's there. We're waiting for it to sit now. Comes to halt just in the 12-foot. So that's a good shot. Thomas may have a double here, but he's got to be careful. He's got that back Yellowstone. For him, I wouldn't even be too concerned about clearing that back yellow out. He's more looking at opening the house up, because blanking an end is not the worst case. You definitely want to open it up and give yourself some room to draw. And right now, that blue stone from Humber College is sitting on the pin. And number 7 in mixed doubles at the OCAA Curling Provincial Championships. First stone. Thomas looking to get it to curl that ice. He threw it outside from the get-go, and it stayed outside with that weight. So this really opens up the door for Humber College to steal multiple in N7. They haven't used their timeouts yet. Each team gets 2 timeouts during the course of the game. Both teams haven't used up any. So OCAA sweeping, holding the rock to the outside, but a little overswept there. You can tell that's that little communication error as it swept through the house. So she had room, and it was a little heavy. So Thomas trying a draw here. The top blue stone is staggered out, so they actually have staggered guards. He just has to come in here with a little bit of weight, not much. You're drawing essentially to the back 8 foot. And you're just looking just to move that blue stone off the button. It's close. Line looks good. Has room to curl. Could be a little bit light here. Even just freezing to the top of it, they're going to just kiss it. So, OCAA going to be shooting her 5th and final stone. And number 7. Now might be that time to call the timeout. They're looking from it from far side. From my perspective, you have a chance at either a draw freeze right on top. They call the timeout, so they're going to have 90 seconds once the coaches get down to the ice. Or you just place a nice guard. The other option is if you do want to get a little bit more finicky, you could probably try a tap on your front blue stone on the 12 foot. So Yeah, they're going to go down to the far end, have a look at it. If you tap in that just off a nose, you could roll out or just roll slightly over to cover up their Yellowstone, be on the left side of that center line, which is not a bad idea. But for the Humber perspective, they're just looking to get one here. They need to steal and then steal two in the next end. They start off really well, and they have that shot. So do they try to get a little greedy, get two in this end, or do you play it a little bit safer and just put up a guard and really shut down the opportunity that Fanshawe has here? The other option you have is throwing a little bit heavier draw. When I say a little bit, like, I'm only talking you're drawing as if you're trying to just reach the back 8 foot. So not a lot more extra weight. And you're just going to want to connect maybe on nose, slightly off nose of that Yellowstone. So on the inside by 2 inches. So you can roll over, and that'll probably bump your shooter into the center. And then your shot stone will push a little bit more onto that button as well. So, Michaela Otogali, 5th stone. First timeout called of the game. A little pressure build up now. A little bit lighter stone, so could be trying that coming across the top. Needs to curl, has room, so you don't want to touch the stone right now. You need it to curl. Don't bother sweeping. Don't try to get it across. It's starting to move. Let it do its thing. It's right on nose at the moment. So they're going to connect with it on nose, push over their shooter. Nice shot by Otogali. So they're still sitting 1. And now marking up that second. If Fanshawe tries that run back for the top blue stone that's sitting about 3/4 way into that 4 foot, it will jam on their yellows. So it looks like they're going to be trying to draw from the far side. It's inside, trying to get it around the blue guard. Thomas calls her off. It's on the rub. So with that, score comes to 5-3, going into the 8th and final end for the mixed double competition at the Peterborough Curling Club. Great shooting by both teams. Now, Humber College shooting those blue stones needs to steal 2 in the final end to force it to an extra. Not the easiest thing to do by any means, but you have a shot. You got a chance. There's some opportunity in front of you. I'm excited to see how this end plays out. Looking to repeat her shot from the previous end. Draw right down the button in shot number 1. Has room to curl. Thought it was a little bit light, but it seems to be coming in with a little extra weight here. Not getting that curl that they want on it. It's too bad, comes right through. You leave that, has a little bit more curl, and you might split that up. It's too bad on the first stone. Now Kathleen Valaquette shoots her first stone. Trying to get it by the guard. Oh, she does so, but it's got a fair bit of weight here. Tapping their yellow out, has to be replaced, and the shooter is removed. So Davis Wiscombe will look to see what he can do in the final end. Oh, it's got a lot of movement right now. Curling onto that center guard. Let's see if they can get it by. Just rubs, but it opens it up. So they need some rocks in the house here for Humber College if they want a chance at stealing here. It looks like it might be, Fanshawe might be calling a peel. So Ian Thomas might be throwing some weight down here, try to open this up a little bit. With the lead, you want it a little bit more open, so your final stone can be clear sailing on the way down. You don't want anything in its path. That just complicates things. So he's going for that higher guard. Going to try to hit it across and then spin onto that blue. Catches it. Beauty. Gets the double. Leaves the shooter, so there's still a guard in play here. For Wiscombe, he's now has to come down, and he wants to freeze right on top of that yellow stone in the house. Looks a little heavy. Just cleaning right now. Starting to slow. Has some nice curl. It's going to finish well. You got to let it be. It's going to come over the face of the stone. I think that's a sweeping error there. They should have kept that on line a little bit, knowing that it's heavy, and then look to tap it back a little bit more and spin in behind the yellow guard. But they still stick around, so it's not the worst thing. They're sticking around in that back four, keeping the top of the house clean and open. Day one of the OCAA Provincial Curling Championships in Peterborough, Ontario. We have 6 mixed double teams in the competition. Apologies, 8 mixed double teams in the competition. Quite popular this year. First year that this style has been run at the OCAA level, which replaced the mixed curling. They're coming in with beautiful weight by Ian Thomas here. Going to sit right on top. There's still some space there. So I'd be just looking to jiggle this around. So come down with that same draw weight. exact same rock that you threw, get to the inside across the face of it, and just open it up just a little bit. You got to start moving those yellows around, but you do want to keep them around here because you want some backing if they're going to throw some heavy weight. So it looks a little tight. Michaela Otogali got on it right away. They don't want it to cross that center line. It's going to be close. Biting it. They're by. Get off it. They hit it just on nose. That's a nice play. Good shooting by Davis Wiscombe. Not sure who shot here. As Ian Thomas eyes it up, and they're going to call a timeout. One look, call the timeout. If you want that extra time to kind of think over a shot, especially in end 8, final end, take that time. You have that option for you. Use it and get that outer look from that coach who's watching this game. See what they're thinking. You could either come down with some weight and just clear it out. You're not going to get across the face at low if you're throwing like a draw type weight. I just don't think it's going to curl that much, but you never know. It does move. Once it gets on that center line, it really starts to move across. So even if you come down and you freeze, just on top of that top blue, you're going to be forcing Wiscombe to make some sort of tap back play, which could open up that house. So 8th and final end. So Fanshawe College and Humber College shooting stones here. This is Ian Thomas's final stone. If you're unfamiliar with mixed doubles, they shoot 5, 6 rocks are in play, 2 positioned right at the start of the end. One shooter shoots rocks number 2, 3, and 4, and the other shoots 1 and 5. So Thomas, judging on the ice, he's looking at a draw here. Looks good so far. Needs to curl. Has room. Coming in just on top. With a little bit of sweeping, he's going to be sitting 8 foot. Guarding up that section. This is a tough call now for the Humber team. Michaela Otogali of Brampton, Ontario, going to be throwing the final stone for Humber College. They believe they're sitting 1, but they do need 2 this end. They need to steal 2 to force this to an extra. Ideally, you'd like that yellow getting out of there. If you come back and you hit that top yellow stone on nose, it'll split out to side after catching your blue. Blue's going to do a run back into the yellow, but you got to make sure that your back blue that's in that 8 foot doesn't get split. You need it to stick around. You're going to have to throw some sort of control weight here. Nothing too heavy, because ideally you'd like your shooter to stay. And they're going to use their final timeout as well after the discussion. Good call by Otungali and Wiscombe to take a look and a coach's view. What a finish to game number 2 for the mixed doubles. On day 1 of the OCAA Curling Provincial Championships. They need 2. So they have to be sitting 2 after this shot to force Fanshawe to make a play on their final stone. Yeah, the options here are very slim. They don't have a lot of options for this last play. I would, it's so close. I would almost say Fanshawe's sitting 1 right now, but it's close. So they do need to move that back yellow stone. That's sitting back button right now. As they clean that rock, prep it. Calm down the ice here. Otungali throwing the final stone for Humber College. 8th end. Needs 2 to steal. And force to an extra. Looks like they are going with that run back. Line's close. It's going to start moving, waiting for it. Wiscombe on the sweeping, really starting to curl now. Trying to hang on. He's getting close to that nose. The weight looks a little bit down. Oh, just skins it. And I believe that is game right there. As they shake to finish the second game of the day for both these teams. Fanshawe College, Ian Thomas and Kathleen Veliquette pick up a win on this Thursday afternoon at the Peterborough Curling Club. I'm Andy Hine. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon and watching some great curling happen before our eyes. Beautiful little comeback and make it interesting in that 8th end in our mixed double competition here today. Stay tuned. Coming up later on, we have another game around 4 o'clock. So if you just want to watch some great curling to be had, feel free to tune back on in. Thank you so much again to that Fleming staff for making this an incredible broadcast and just a beautiful day. Shout out to our cameraman Trevor, who is doing a great job in bearing the cold inside that arena. Well done. Alrighty, I'll see you soon. Take care.